COVID-19 has caused us all to be rather anxious about the future and about our health and the health of our loved ones. Have you, either of you, felt a little bit more anxious during these strange times?
Yes, I do actually feel a little bit anxious and worry about my family. What would you suggest, Debbie, that I can do to reduce my anxious thoughts?
Well, I think there are lots of things that you can include in your day and into your routines. Some things work for some and some things work better for others. And it might be this time that you can start just experimenting with a few things. I think one thing that's very important to do is to pay attention to your breathing. It can help to reduce your anxious thoughts and just gently bring yourself down to feeling calmer. You can adopt some breathing techniques, for example, 7-11 breathing or box breathing. For 7-11 breathing, you breathe in for the count of 7, and then you breathe out for the count of 11 in a nice, controlled and steady way. For box breathing, which might work better for some of you, it gets you to imagine 4 sides of a square. So when you breathe up on the left-hand side, you count for 4, and then you hold your breath on the top line for 4, and you breathe out for the count of 4 on the downward line, and then hold your breath again on the bottom line. And keep doing that, imagining that square in your mind. There are many other breathing techniques to use, but you might like to try these first and see how you get on. Changing negative thoughts is also a really good thing to do to stop the anxiety. Often these negative thoughts are not logical and they make us feel rather miserable. Paying attention to your thoughts and writing them down enables you to see if they make sense. Often you'll find that this distorted and it's rather challenging to replace the upbeat, more realistic thoughts. This enables you to control your anxiety and increases your positive mood. Telling a trusted adult about your feelings helps to face the fears and puts you in control of your thoughts rather than your thoughts being in charge of you. Sometimes you might need to seek trained help. There are lots of strategies and therapies which you can use to help with your anxiety. For example, CBT. But if you still feel overwhelmed by panic and worry, you may need to ask your doctor for some medication to control your anxiety. You may also find this technique helpful as you feel those anxious thoughts rising within you. It's called the 5 senses grounding rule. I would ask you to concentrate and name 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. There are other things that you might want to do too. Listening to music, painting, drawing, all sorts of other creative things that might just take your mood into a better place. There are lots of apps you can use too. For example, Andy Puddicombe's Headspace, which has 10-minute mindfulness exercises, or simply listening to a podcast or reading a book.
Wow, thank you. There are loads of great tips for us all to include into our day here. I hope that you can try some of these out and they help you through these lockdown days. We'll all get there. Join us next time in a few weeks to hear about some creative ideas to keep us busy and focused. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.